Today is Thursday.
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And welcome back. A nice trip to Florida, but I think we might have kept up with you on that humidity.
Yes, I remember hearing from all the weather folks that the humidity is still sticking around. I tried my best to bring with the Florida weather, but I think it already beat me as well.
It's been here, yeah.
Yes. Let's take a look at what's going on today. Well, the one thing is we're not tracking rain showers, so a bit of a relief for those of you who don't want any afternoon or evening plans spoiled, or matter of fact, working outside and don't want a rain shower popping up. We got clouds to start, but sunshine arriving by this afternoon. Along with that, of course, heat and humidity. With heat index values approaching the mid-90s, you definitely want to pack some extra waters or ice packs if you are working outside today. Again, a break in the rain, but wildfire smoke makes its return yet again. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. The radar right now is quiet and dry, and the next 12 hours favor temperatures in the upper 80s. Feels like temperatures even higher, approaching the low to mid 90s. So again, a hot and humid day. In fact, hazy hot and humid day today. We are tracking, of course, the return to some rain showers potentially by tomorrow, as well as that important forecast for the first weekend in August. Straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. After 2 stabbings near homeless in
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning, welcome back. The time now is 5:11. Happy August 1st, everyone. We are starting out this morning and this month with a look at your Munson CommuteCast. And first off, a look at our traffic tracker this morning. No incidents to report of, but we'll go through some of the road work situations across parts of our region. First off, the New Hartford area right along Genesee Street. Those of you, of course, pretty much that drive this route daily already know about this road work taking place. But if the paving is being done, road is stripped, there's some bumpy spots, some locations. Also, some potential road closures in both directions with flaggers, as they do also on top of paving. Some signal work as well. But let's head over to Herkimer County, within the village of Herkimer, I should say, with the location between South Washington Street and Route 5 and 5S, road closures with flaggers as well due to drainage and manhole alterations, repairs, all that sort in the Herkimer area. So again, a heads up for both locations. There are still more. We'll highlight a few more of those coming up, of course, on tomorrow. But again, today, potential for some patchy fog, temperatures in the 60s and 70s, climbing into the upper 80s with hazy and hot conditions. We'll talk about that wildfire smoke as well as the return to rain showers tomorrow in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The popular deli meat company Boar's.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. We start out the month of August on a quiet note, however, not entirely quiet, at least not so much with rain showers, more so with potential for wildfire smoke. We'll get to that, of course, in a second. But first, let's take a live look outside in Barneveld, the intersection of Route 28 and 12, where you can see, of course, quiet conditions near the camera, but out in the distance facing the north. Some valley fog starting to form. So some patchy fog in some spots early today, but it's a quiet start here for most of the region. Officially 68 and cloudy at Griffiths and Rome. Sunrise getting closer and closer to that 6 a.m. mark, getting later and later in the morning. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Looking at dry conditions all across the area. Recapping our month of July, it actually started out pretty warm, but then went right back down to average by the second half. Only 2 days of above average temperatures between the 20th and 31st. So you can see here, warm start, in fact, very warm start in the second week with 12 degrees above average on the 10th. And we'll, of course, talk a bit more about how August shapes up climatologically coming up in our next hour of Sunrise. But we are tracking the arrival of near-surface smoke due to multiple wildfires, both in Canada, at least primarily, though, in California, in the western half of the United States. Several very, very large wildfires still burning, which this could impact our air quality a little bit. And by a little bit, I'm saying on a scale of 1 to 5, I would put it at a 2 out of 5, I should say, with 1 out of 5 being little to no risk. But of course, the June wildfires last year were in the red and purple range, to give you some perspective. And so in our Skycast, here's that early morning fog burning off as sunshine moves in this afternoon. Faded sunshine, I should say, with that smoke. And then temperatures climbing into the upper 80s near 90. Quiet, no rain showers expected today, with overnight lows falling down into the upper 60s, low 70s. Then tomorrow, a dry start for most of us, and then we'll see a few spotty showers and thunderstorms arrive by the afternoon. And so for today, we'll see highs approaching near 90, hazy skies but dry. And then your 7-day forecast, we're looking at conditions in the upper 80s, near 90 again tomorrow. Humidity sticking around for most of the weekend with shower and storm activity possible. Will, of course, dry out, though, as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Lacrosse will return to the Olympic Games
2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Who is just returning from vacation down in steamy Florida, but I think we were equal.
Yes, I came back, humidity felt really no different. The only thing was the temperatures slightly warmer in Florida, but something I wasn't quite used to in Florida with those constant afternoon downpours and then sunshine again.
Yeah.
So Florida a bit different, but I'm back here in New York, home sweet home, and let's take a look at what we're expecting here early today. And for those of you that saw some showers and unsettled conditions yesterday, well, we're looking at dry conditions today. Starting out in the 60s, officially 68 in Rome, 61 in Hamilton. It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, but it's going to be dry. We're tracking a break in the rain today, but we're looking at the arrival of wildfire smoke yet again. We'll, of course, have the latest details on that coming up in just a few minutes. But a live look at the Airflow Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, quiet and dry all across the central New York area. And again today, patchy fog gives way to sunshine. Temperatures upper 80s. Ooh. Feels like temperatures near 90 degrees. And on top of that, of course, we're looking at potentially hazy conditions from that wildfire smoke out west. We'll talk about that as well as your all-important first weekend of August forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, as the race for the White House, we're all there.
Join Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
This on that Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, as you can see.
Samantha Wessing.
Severe weather all
Meteorologist Jill Reel.
The conditions in place right now, you can
meteorologist Eric Gage. To get instant updates on floods, storms, and tornadoes. News Channel 2 Storm Tracker, tracking storms minute by minute to keep your family safe. This
Welcome back to News Channel 2 at Sunrise. We're starting out this few minutes talking about our first photo of the day for the month of August. And this one is a great submission taken by a viewer in Cooperstown at Council Rock, and again, always a breathtaking shot overlooking the lake here in Cooperstown, especially not only in the summertime, but my favorite time is going to visit in the fall with the reflection of the water or the skies on the water, as well as the colorful tree lines going all the way down the lake. So amazing photo right here. If you would like to submit a photo like this one, we still have a bunch more we got to get through. Again, a big thank you to all of your submissions. You can send it right there to the top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Well, this morning, temperatures starting out rather mild. in the upper 60s, low 70s. Don't need anything more than maybe a light jacket, if that, but I think just a regular shirt, no jacket required, as we'll climb quickly today into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Another hot and humid day today, along with dry conditions. We'll, of course, talk about that wildfire smoke that makes its return straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Speaking of the hot weather, a lot of you have been expressing concern about unusual spikes in your most recent National Grid bills. That includes a lot of tornado survivors who didn't even have power for 4 or 5 days following the storm. We reached out to National Grid. They said they looked into it, and it appears to be increased usage, likely due to unusually high temperatures in June and July. The National Grid employee we spoke with says his own bill went up almost $100, and he too looked into it.
I went through in our customer team and I asked to see if there were any complaints of errors, and we did not show any. And what we're looking at is just increased usage. We've had our hottest summer in memory. In June, every day of the month of June had a high temperature that was above average.
And some quick, easy steps to save on your bill. Pull the blinds on sunny days, especially in the room where your thermostat is. Also, don't put your health in jeopardy on those super hot days, but when it's bearable, 3 degrees on your thermostat lower can save as much, or higher that is, can save as much as 18% on your bill. The time right now, 5:40.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. We are starting out the day dry, but some spots seeing some patchy valley fog. Let's take a live look in Oneonta, where the city, of course, hard to see. On the bottom, very bottom of your screen, you might be able to pick out the top of the tower at Hartwick College, but again, a bit difficult to see things in Oneonta, but in downtown Utica, not so much in terms of fog, more so clouds, cloudy conditions, temperature 68 degrees. Still that sunrise getting later and later in the morning, and of course coming up in the next hour of sunrise. Stay tuned. We'll talk about what you can expect both with sunrise times and temperatures, as well as the reducing daylight hours as we approach between the 1st and 31st of this month. Still very humid out, but dry in the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. And again, July, recapping it, it was a warmer than average start, but then things trended back around average by the second half. Only a couple of days above average and then a few days below average, especially between the 18th and 27th of the month. So overall, this month was slightly above average, but we're not looking at anything that was record-breaking. But heading forward, we are keeping a close eye on some wildfire smoke. Now, this is primarily coming from the west coast of the U.S., those huge wildfires out in California and some other spots in the western lower 48. And this could slightly impact air quality, especially for today, but this will shift north by tomorrow and reduce that impact. But again, on a scale of good to very unhealthy, we're at the moderate stage here. So just a small, finite number of folks that do have underlying health concerns that are unusually sensitive could see some impacts at all. But for most of us, this will only give us just a slight smoky smell in the sky. And so to our skycast, that valley fog this morning will burn off and sunshine moves in. Again, hazy, hot and humid, but more so with the hazy skies being attributed to the wildfire smoke versus humidity. But regardless, we'll see temperatures approach near 90, heat index values low to mid 90s, and then dry weather comes to an end roughly around tomorrow afternoon. That's when a few spotty showers and storms roll through with temperatures in the 80s. And so your 7-day forecast, humidity sticks around for the next few days. Shower and storm chances linger into the weekend for both Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll dry out with temperatures in the 80s by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Team USA made a...
With Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And happy August to you.
Happy August 1st, and we're officially in, I would say, the dog days of summer. We got that heat and humidity returning before I came back from Florida, so this wasn't a culprit of mine, I guess.
We've had a dog day summer, that's for sure.
Yes, very warm, and the warm stretch continues today. But first, let's take a look at those current conditions out there early this morning. In fact, a pretty mild start. Overcast skies in downtown Utica, but a good chunk of central New York either under patchy fog or quiet and clear conditions. You can see here 69 in Rome, 61 in Hamilton, but will warm quickly into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Hot and humid today. We'll see, of course, a break in the rain showers, but we'll see a return to wildfire smoke yet again. So we'll win some and lose some. But the wildfire smoke shouldn't impact air quality all too much. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We're looking at quiet and dry conditions all across central New York, and our next 12 hours favor upper 80s near 90 with lots of sunshine this afternoon, lots of faded sunshine. In fact, early this morning, if you look and see the early morning moon, you might see it a bit on the faded side, almost orangish. The last fingernail of the moon before it turns into a new moon, but we'll see that. Plus, what we can expect rain-wise for tomorrow and into the weekend in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. After 2 stabbings near
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning. Welcome back. It is 6:11. Happy August 1st, everyone. We are starting out this morning and this month with a look at your Munson CommuteCast. And first, a live look at the traffic tracker early today. We've got no accidents to report of, no current incidents taking place, but a recap of some road work taking place right now. Those of you who commute pretty frequently along Genesee Street in New Hartford, you probably already know this, but a reminder for those that haven't traveled just yet, road work being done. There's some paving, signal work, curb installation, sidewalk installation between roughly Richardson Ave all the way down to Gulf Ave. Closures possibly in both directions with flaggers. Just a heads up, if you're heading in that direction, you could expect a bit of a delay. Secondly, those in the Herkimer area, we're looking at a traffic alert for lane closures between Route 5 and 5S between South Washington Street as well. So again, a heads up for those of you in the Herkimer County region as well. We'll cover a bit more in terms of some of these other traffic alerts throughout the area for tomorrow. But for now, we'll start out today with temperatures in the 60s and 70s, patchy fog, dry start and dry afternoon, a bit hazy though, with temperatures in the upper 80s. Gary?
Thanks. The popular deli meat company Boar's Head is recalling.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. Happy August 1st, everyone. We are starting out with patchy fog in some locations and drying out with sunshine by this afternoon. Let's take a live look outside in Oneonta right now, where, of course, we are seeing patchy fog out in the distance, and that is impacting some traveling areas early today. But, of course, following this morning, that fog will burn off. And a look at current conditions. We're sitting at 69 degrees and cloudy skies. Dew point is 68, still very humid. But one thing to mention, too, is that sunrise is getting later and later in the morning. Let's talk about August's changing weather. Between the 1st of this month and the 31st this month, our average high goes down roughly 6 degrees. Same thing for average low, down roughly 4 degrees. So our climatologically, our temperatures start to cool down. How about that sunrise and sunset time? Well, changing this morning from 5:52 the sunrise to roughly 6:24 in the morning. So we're going to be approaching the 6:30 time frame. And then for sunset, we're losing roughly an hour or so between 8:21 and 7:36. But overall, we are losing an hour of 18 minutes of daylight between now and the 31st. But the radar is looking quiet and dry this morning, with temperatures remaining in the 60s, of course, in most spots climbing into the 70s, eventually upper 80s by this afternoon. But with the dry weather, the only thing, though, is we're going to be keeping a close eye on some near-surface smoke arriving from the west, mainly those huge wildfires out in California, which eventually the smoke worked its way here into the northeast, which you can see here could slightly impact air quality. You might notice a slight smell of smoke in the air today, but this will not impact our air quality too much. We're in the moderate category. Keep in mind, for reference, the wildfire smoke from last June was in the unhealthy to very unhealthy range. So only those of you who are unusually sensitive to particular particles in the atmosphere might have some minor health concerns. But our forecast today, patchy fog gives way to sunshine, temperatures in the upper 80s near 90. Quiet and dry weather today. Then by tonight, we'll see quiet and dry conditions still sticking around before more rain showers develop by tomorrow afternoon. And so your 7-day forecast looking at hot and humid conditions for the next few days into the 80s with scattered shower and storm chances both Saturday and Sunday. We do dry out, though, as we approach Monday and Tuesday of next week. Gary?
Heat is on.
Yes, mid-summer weather, here we are.
Eric, thanks. Lacrosse will return to the Olympic Games
Thursday, August 1st, 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And you were mentioning that wildfire smoke. Where is all that coming from?
All coming from those major wildfires out in the western U.S. A lot of them, at least as far as I knew, were 0% contained last week. I don't have the official numbers on how far more contained they are now, but they are producing lots of smoke.
Coming this way.
Yes, coming this way. So we'll talk about that wildfire smoke coming up in a few moments. But to start out the day today, well, not too bad of a start. Matter of fact, we got a few clouds in downtown Utica, but temperatures in the 60s, 69 in Rome, 61 Hamilton, but patchy fog forming in some spots. In fact, fog reported in Ithaca, Hamilton, Glens Falls, and of course, other spots in central New York. And so what we're tracking today, well, hot and humid weather, but dry. We have a bit of a break in the rain for today. But again, we're keeping a close eye on wildfire smoke making its return. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Quiet and dry conditions all across our area. In the next 12 hours, we'll see those clouds whisk away and sunshine move in as high temperatures climb into the upper 80s. Feels like temperatures even warmer. We'll see them approach the low to mid 90s. So again, we'll talk about those temperatures, the rain chances heading into the weekend, but more importantly, the wildfire smoke and impact on air quality and that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. As the race for the White House heats up,
Good morning and welcome back. We are showing our photo of the day early this morning, and this one is taken at Council Rock in Cooperstown. And I want to zoom in on this photo because I got some interesting trivia for those of you who are not familiar with the Otsego name. So Otsego, the name itself, also in looking at Otsego Lake, is from the either Mohawk or Oneida name for Place of the Rock, which at this point symbolizes Council Rock, which is located right here, and of course gives the lake as well as the valley as well as the county its name of Otsego County, Otsego Lake, all from a carved glacier which formed this around 10 to 12,000 years ago. So this is a very symbolic area here in central New York, and also showcases again how uniquely beautiful central New York is. If you want to submit a photo like this one, send it to the link right there on top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Well, heading to the forecast, we'll talk about, of course, the hot and humid weather today, wildfire smoke returning, as well as those rain chances arriving by tomorrow and the weekend in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Speaking of that hot weather, a lot of you have been expressing concern about unusual spikes in your most recent national grid bills. That includes a lot of tornado survivors who didn't even have power for 4 or 5 days following the storm. We reached out to National Grid. They said they looked into it, and it appears to be increased usage, likely due to unusually high temperatures in both June and July. The National Grid employee we spoke with said his own bill went up almost $100, and he also looked into it.
I went through and our customer team, and I asked to see if there were any complaints of errors, and we did not show any. And what we're looking at is just increased usage. We've had our hottest summer in memory. In June, every day of the month of June had a high temperature that was above average.
Now, some quick, easy steps to save on your bill each month. Pull the blinds on sunny days, especially in the room where your thermostat is. Also, don't put your health in jeopardy on those super hot days, but when it's bearable, put your thermostat up 3 degrees. That can save as much as 18% on your bill. The Otsego County Fair is going on.
Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning and welcome back. This August 1st, we're starting out with dry conditions, although some patchy fog. Let's take a look outside in Oneonta, where we're starting to see that morning sun. What a beautiful shot right there from our camera atop Hartwick College. The fog will gradually lift and the skies will appear a bit hazy today with the arrival of some wildfire smoke from those wildfires out in the western U.S. In fact, you can see in the distance that sun a little bit on the hazy orangish reddish side early today. Current local temperature is 69 in Rome, still very humid, and that sunrise time getting a little bit later in the morning. Matter of fact, let's take a look at August's changing weather. Between the 1st and the 31st, our average high goes down around 6 degrees, average low down around 5 degrees, or 4 degrees, I should say. So overall, we're not looking at anything too much in terms of a cooling month ahead, but that will change as we get into the later half of the summertime into fall. But the most notable thing here will be the changing of the sunrise and sunset times. We'll see sunrise at 5:52 today, 6:24 on the 31st. Sunset 8:21, 31st 7:36. So you factor all that in, we're losing roughly an hour and 18 minutes of daylight for this month. And of course that will accelerate as we approach the next few months. Roughly September, October. October usually the fastest month to lose daylight. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We're quiet and dry here locally, and with the dry conditions today, the only thing we're keeping a close eye on is that wildfire smoke. And you can see here near the surface, those blues and light greens indicating some minor impacts to air quality. You could smell that smoke today. You obviously will see it with that faded sun. The sky's looking a bit milky. And on top of that, this will put a moderate impact to air quality. So only those of you who are very unusually sensitive to wildfire smoke or particulates in the atmosphere would be affected. But on our Skycast, quickly, we'll see those foggy conditions this morning give way to sunshine and temperatures that will climb into the upper 80s near 90 degrees. Still looking entirely dry today. But that will change as we head into tomorrow, roughly tomorrow afternoon. Better chance for showers and storms returning not only for tomorrow, but also into the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, scattered showers and storms with hot and humid conditions. Following that, though, we'll see a drying pattern arrive by Monday and Tuesday of next week with sunshine and highs in the low 80s. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Team USA made it back to the top of the
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on the CW11. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Fresh off of a trip to steamy Florida, but I think we kept up with you.
Yes, humidity no different when I got on the plane versus when I got off the plane,
Man.
it felt like. So not too much of a difference, but what will be different today will be any rain showers. Entirely dry. Florida afternoon
Yeah,
showers,
afternoons.
storms here and there. Let's take a look at what we're seeing today. First off, a live look in downtown Utica right now. Those morning clouds are moving away out to the east, and we'll start to see some faded sunshine. And that faded sunshine will be from something other than just clouds, with temperatures in the upper 60s right now, climbing very quickly into the upper 80s near 90. Hot and humid weather today. Again, a bit of a break in the rain, but that hazy sky will be caused by wildfire smoke. And we'll talk about that in a lot more detail coming up in a few minutes. But taking a look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, we are tracking quiet conditions early today, and those morning clouds give way to sunshine and temperatures in the upper 80s near 90 degrees. So another hot and humid day today. But looking dry. We'll, of course, talk about the impact on air quality with that wildfire, as well as what you can expect rain-wise, not only for tomorrow, but into the weekend in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. After 2 stabbings near homeless encampments.
Central New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. This August 1st is starting out pretty dry with only some patchy fog in some locations, and that fog is starting to burn off. In fact, it's like a live look at Oneonta right now, where that morning fog is turning into a few low-lying clouds. Those will whisk away, and sunshine will move in for pretty much most of the entire afternoon. Temperatures at 69 in Rome, still very humid. That sunrise, something to point out too. It's 5:55 this morning. Now, as we go throughout the month, we'll see changing conditions. First off, that average high to start out the month of August at 81 degrees, average low 60 by the 31st. Average high is 75, average low 56. We're dropping roughly 4 to 6 degrees overall between now and the end of the month. But with that sunrise and sunset time, this is the largest difference here. The sunrise this morning, roughly around 5:52, 5:55, around 6:24 on the 31st, and on top of that, 7:36, the sunrise or sunset time on the 31st of August as well. You factor all that in, we're losing an hour and 28 or 18 minutes of daylight between now and the end of the month. But to the near-term forecast, the radar is looking quiet and dry early this morning, and the only thing we're tracking today is wildfire smoke, and this could have a slight impact on air quality. You might notice a smoky smell in the sky today, as well as a hazy sky today. Milky conditions in the atmosphere. The sunrise, although a bit overcast and a bit covered in some spots, could be colorful. The sunset tonight will likely be on the colorful side. But again, regarding air quality impacts, just a slight increase in particulate matter. This only is for those of you who are unusually sensitive and may have a few health concerns with the increased particulates with the smoke in the atmosphere. But for most of us, all that will do is produce a slight smoky smell. This doesn't look to produce anything too concerning for most of us. But to our skycast, patchy fog, again giving way to sunshine by the afternoon, and temperatures climbing into the upper 80s. Then by tonight, quiet conditions, lows in the 60s and 70s. Clouds return again tomorrow, and then we'll see a chance of showers and storms arriving by tomorrow afternoon. And that will remain a common weather trend for Saturday and Sunday. Scattered showers and storms possible. Will dry out, though, by Monday and Tuesday of next week.
News with Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And I know Jill was in for the past 3 days, and hazy, hot, and humid each of those days as well, and no end to it.
Yep, the streak continues. We have another very warm, very humid day, and although it's dry, we're keeping an eye on the skies with that hazy sky way up there. And as you can see on our Nexus camera right now, you can somewhat see the haze. Matter of fact, I'm going to go behind the scenes and put on our tower camera. I feel like that kind of exemplifies what's going on right now. It's not really reaching the surface too much, but it's enough to potentially cause some minor impacts to air quality. As a matter of fact, you can see it in the distance with the hazy conditions way out in the east. But regardless of the air quality, it's actually pretty nice out to go out to potentially spend some time outside in the pool. Temperatures upper 80s, near 90 degrees. Humidity still tropical, and that wind speed of 5 to 10 miles per hour. And of course, across state, 83 currently in Rome, 81 Hamilton, 81 in Watertown, and 80 up in Saranac Lake with dry conditions. On the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. In the next 12 hours, favor temperatures in the upper 80s, near 90. Feels like temperatures, of course, even warmer, but remaining almost entirely dry. And that dry weather will come to an end, though, for some locations as we head into tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about the arrival of that, plus, again, more details on that air quality in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Oneida County Sheriff's officials are looking for...
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. August 1st is here, and so far it's shaping up like a typical August day. Very warm, very humid, but also a little bit hazy out. Let's take a look at the surface smoke. This is not here locally. This is actually formed by multiple wildfires out in the western U.S., primarily in Colorado and in California, with the California fire being the strongest. Now, these are burning, sending smoke through the jet stream and eventually arriving right here in central New York. And this is impacting air quality. Matter of fact, look at the latest numbers. We are still at a moderate level as expected. This is not something that is too concerning regarding health concerns for a lot of folks, but those who are unusually sensitive, who are sensitive to air particulate matter in the atmosphere like this, that's really the only folks that get affected by this. Most of us, all it will do is produce maybe a slight smoky smell in the atmosphere. But you can see here on our Cavity Tower camera that the haze is still a bit noticeable, especially as you head out east towards the Mohawk Valley. But currently, sunny, hazy sunny, temperature 83 degrees, still very humid. In fact, the humidity has dropped a little bit within the past hour. The dew point is at 70 degrees, but wind speeds of 5 to 10 miles per hour expected for today. Now, as we head throughout the month of August, here are some changes we'll be seeing. First off, temperatures falling, at least the high temperatures falling around 6 degrees, low temperatures around 4 degrees. So although it's going to be cooling down a little bit, it won't be too noticeable. We're still in the mid-70s on average by the end of the month. The only thing that's really noticeable are the sunrise and sunset times. Take a look right here. 5:52 in the morning for today, the sunrise, eventually 6:24. Sunset, 8:21, eventually 7:36. You factor that in, we're losing an hour and 18 minutes of daylight just in this month. So although we're losing a bunch of daylight, we're looking at quiet conditions, at least for today, as well as, of course, that warm weather, for the most part, likely to stick around. Our radar is quiet and dry as expected in the next 12 or so hours, still favoring dry weather, still humid, still hazy, and temperatures only falling down into the low 70s, upper 60s by the overnight hours and early tomorrow. Then clouds give way to potentially a few scattered showers and storms as we head into tomorrow afternoon, but these don't look to be completely widespread, but we'll see them form here and there for most of the area, especially for tomorrow and into the weekend as well. So your Saturday and Sunday, humid, chance for showers and storms continuing with temperatures in the 80s. We'll see rainfall activity begin to diminish as we approach Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. As we get closer to the New York State Fair and the annual...
Look at your forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Another hot day across central New York. The weather looks dry this evening. We're not seeing any thunderstorms out there. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The weather will stay dry. We've got a light haze in the sky from wildfire smoke moving in from the west. This is slightly affecting air quality. Current temperature 86 degrees. It's very humid. It feels like 88, and it's going to be another warm evening ahead. Overnight lows only drop into the 60s. Scattered storms are expected tomorrow. They look to continue into the weekend. There are signs looking ahead that we'll get a break from the humidity, especially as we head into early next week. Hazy and humid this evening. Temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. Again, tracking a return to some showers and storms. A look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The Red Cross will be closing its service center in Rome on Monday. The organization is set up in the basement of St. Peter's Church, one of various locations since the tornado hit back in July 16th. Volunteers, including caseworkers, will be there until Monday at 4 p.m. If you still need help after that, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Summer EBT benefits are coming.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Welcome back. We're tracking some very humid weather in our future. It's going to continue. Let's take a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Enjoy a lovely evening. It's very warm, but it's dry. Tomorrow we will be tracking a few scattered showers and storms, and the weather does look unsettled heading into the weekend. The other thing that we're tracking is wildfire smoke working in from the west. It's not as thick as what we were dealing with last year. But we do have a very small amount of it in the sky, and it is creating this extra haze. It's very humid, but there's more haze than usual because of that wildfire smoke. This, by the way, is a live look at our Cat V Tower Cam looking to the east. This wildfire smoke is also very slightly affecting our air quality. Air quality is down a bit, which means if you're very sensitive to changes in air quality, you might have issues, but most people are not going to have any issues if you're going to be going outside and doing some exercising, going for a walk or a run. It shouldn't really cause any issues. The smoke does look to stick around heading into tomorrow, but then winds turn into the southwest, and it should blow some of the smoke out of the area into the weekend. It stays very humid over the next several days. There are signs, though, ahead. By next week, we should see some breaks in the humidity. Skywatchers, 88 in Clinton, Barneveld 83, a hot day across the area. Sandy and Fairfield 87, Karen Worcester with 88 degrees. Again, we do have high pressure and control of our weather for now, but this disturbance to the west will bring a few scattered storms heading into the weekend. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast tonight, mostly clear. Overnight lows drop into the mid-60s. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow. The chance of a pop-up shower or storm. Temperatures climb into the upper 80s. Tomorrow night, a few scattered showers and storms linger, and we will see more of the same on Saturday. Scattered showers and storms expected in the afternoon. High temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Muggy tonight, a low of 66. Tomorrow, hazy, hot, and humid. The chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. High temperature of 87. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. It remains very warm and humid heading into the weekend. Scattered showers and storms continue Saturday and Sunday. Things start to change Monday as a cold front arrives. 82 for the highs. Still a few lingering showers and storms, but it turns to less humid and cooler with highs in the 70s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.
Look at the forecast with our chief meteorologist, Bill Curtis. Bill, I saw some comments on Facebook saying that we could be brothers tonight with our matching ties here. But
Yeah, we do kind of look.
exactly. Let's talk a
got the
little bit
memo.
about the air quality going on here.
Yeah, I just checked some of the local sensors. The air quality has actually diminished tonight. So it was moderate earlier. Now it's a little bit unhealthy. So I think in the interest of precaution, probably a good idea to close the windows tonight, especially if you're sensitive to this. I think this is probably just a good idea in general. Again, it's not anywhere near as high as what we were dealing with last summer when the wildfire smoke was really thick and it was really unhealthy. But again, it is a little bit unhealthy tonight, and the thickest that we've seen so far this summer. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The weather is dry. It is going to be a hot and humid day tomorrow. Our current temperature 73 degrees, the dew point 68, still very humid outside. Skies are clear, though. It is going to be a warm stretch of weather here through the weekend. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. We do see some cooler weather in sight, though. Temperatures are expected to be in the 70s by Tuesday. Tonight, again, a warm night. Probably better to run the fan rather than leave the windows open. Overnight lows in the mid 60s. We're tracking some thunderstorms that look to return late tomorrow. Look at the forecast coming up. Luke, back to you.
Bill, thanks so much. New tonight, the Salvation Army of Rome had their final day of disaster relief emergency food box distribution. They will continue to serve next week through their intake and normal food pantry.
And now we're moving to what we call disaster social services, wherein we meet one-on-one with individuals and families to provide the unique services that they need within our means, of course, but through the generosity of the community. We have some financial resources to share.
Now, even though today was the last day of those boxes, they will still be providing grocery orders through appointment. The Red Cross will be closing its doors for the service center in Rome on Monday. The organization is set up currently in the basement of St. Peter's Church, one of the various locations since the tornado hit on July 16th. Volunteers, including caseworkers, will be there until Monday at 4 p.m. If you still need help after that, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. There's a new New York State.
I'm Sarah Macri. I'm with the United Way of Mohawk Valley. The city of Rome and the village of Canastota experienced devastating tornado activity on July 16, 2024, leading to significant damage and loss of life. United Way will be at your side by ensuring our 211 call center that supports Oneida and Madison counties has the latest referrals at their fingertips. That alone will not be enough. We are here to support our partner agencies and our communities at large by creating the Unmet Needs Funds. Donations to this fund will directly help families in need during what will undoubtedly be a significant rebuilding period. We are working directly with the YMCA of the Greater Tri-Valley and to ensure every dollar goes directly into hands of people in the greatest need. If other agencies would like to partner with us, we invite them to please reach out. Contributions can be made by going to unitedwaymv.org/tornado. Every gift, no matter the size, will make a significant difference in supporting their unmet needs in the interim. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we live united.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening, a very humid evening, and we're dealing with some relatively poor air quality due to wildfire smoke that's been ongoing here for today, and it looks like it's going to linger into tonight. The weather looks dry, at least for tonight. You have the risk for some thunderstorms. They look to return tomorrow, especially late in the day. Live look at our Cappy Tower Cam overlooking the city of Utica. Again, a very warm, humid night. Again, the air quality coming down a little bit tonight. The air from the wildfire smoke from the west will be lingering through tomorrow, but there are signs that the wind will thin some of this out, and we will see some improvements. Again, this is not as thick as it was last summer, but it is something that if you're really sensitive to this, you could experience some issues here, especially if you're going to be outdoors for several hours tomorrow. High levels of humidity continue through the weekend. There are some signs that the humidity will start to break as we head into early next week. Temperatures are warm this evening, 73 in Rome, 78 in Syracuse. We'll drop into the mid-60s tonight. High pressure continues to drive our weather. We're tracking some showers to the west. A disturbance will be moving in as we head into tomorrow. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows drop down into the mid-60s tomorrow. Looking at a dry start to the day, but some showers and thunderstorms will be arriving in the afternoon. High temperatures climb into the mid-80s. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. The weather remains unsettled as we head into the weekend. On Saturday, we start out with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Another warm and humid day with the chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures again climb into the mid-80s. Tonight, very muggy, low temperature of 66. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, hazy, hot, and humid, 87 for the high. Chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Showers, thunderstorms continue on Saturday as well as Sunday. Cold front moves in Monday. That's going to bring a drop in the humidity and some cooler weather. Temperatures in the upper 70s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.
First look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Bill, All summer long, we've been hearing a lot about those wildfires and how the smoke might be moving down far past where they are, including potentially into our area.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it today. Wildfire smoke will continue tonight, tomorrow. It's creating this haze. It's not like it was last year, but it is affecting our air quality. In fact, we're asking folks just to be extra cautious tonight, to close your windows, turn on the air conditioner instead. If you have a window unit, it usually takes air from within the house because we have noticed a drop in air quality this evening, enough so that it's going to likely cause an issue for folks that are sensitive to this. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We are looking at dry weather tonight. Temperature-wise, we're sitting at 70 degrees. It's still very humid and very hazy out there tonight. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-80s over the next several days. We're looking at high levels of humidity. Things start to change by next week. A cold front is likely going to drop the humidity and bring us some cooler weather. Tonight, overnight lows in the mid-60s. Again, a good night to run the fan or the air conditioner. We're tracking our next chance of thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Look at the forecast coming up. Luke, back to you.
Bill, thanks so much. New tonight, the Salvation Army of Rome had their final day of disaster relief emergency food box distribution. They will continue serving next week through their intake and their normal food pantry.
And now we're moving to what we call disaster social services, wherein we meet one-on-one with individuals and families to provide the unique services that they need within our means, of course, but through the generosity of the community. We have some financial resources to share.
Today was the last day of boxes, but they will still provide grocery orders through appointment. There's a new New York State historical marker in
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. A very warm evening here in Central New York, and it is looking dry. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The weather tonight looks pretty quiet, but we are tracking some thunderstorms that we're expecting late tomorrow. 71 degrees is the current temperature. This is a live look in downtown Utica. A little bit of a haze out there. As we mentioned, the air quality is taking a turn for the worse this evening. It has gone from moderate to unhealthy for some. We'll keep an eye on this. If you are sensitive to changes in air quality, you're going to want to limit your time outdoors, at least through early tomorrow. We're hoping that the smoke starts to lift. The wildfire smoke that's causing this air quality issue should start to lift into tomorrow, and I think we should see some improvements eventually. What we've learned in the past, too, is that it does take time for wildfire smoke to move out of the area, so a little bit of patience, and again, things should be getting better here as we move forward. Not with the humidity, at least not through the weekend. We're looking at high levels of humidity Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There are signs that the humidity will improve. A cold front arrives early next week, and that should knock down the high levels of humidity we've been dealing with. Clear skies across the region, 70 degrees at Griffith and Rome, 75 in Syracuse. Tonight, temperatures will drop down into the mid-60s, making it a little bit more of a comfortable night than the last couple. As we look at the radar and satellite image, our next disturbance moves in from the west. This is going to bring some scattered showers and storms to our area late tomorrow and especially on Saturday. Tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows drop into the mid-60s. We start out Friday morning with partly sunny skies. There's going to be the chance for thunderstorms in the afternoon. I think there's going to be a slightly larger chance to the east of Utica. Temperatures climb into the mid-80s. Looking pretty quiet tomorrow night. Thunderstorms develop on Saturday, especially in the afternoon. Another warm and humid day with high temperatures in the mid-80s. Forecast for tonight, muggy, partly cloudy, a low of 66. Tomorrow, looking at hazy, hot, and humid weather, some scattered storms in the afternoon, a high of 87. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The humidity sticks around through the weekend, but a cold front will eventually arrive on Sunday, bringing some showers and thunderstorms. And we expect a drop in the humidity and some cooler weather with highs in the 70s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.